have a pile of papers on my desk and also a gardening book with some floral images in it, which can only mean one thing, that we're going to be doing some collaging. So this is hands down my favorite thing to do in my junk journal. Today I'm going to be doing the prompt of mini collage. I thought that it would be only fitting if I actually did a collage in one of the tags that I have put in the little pockets of this junk journal. So I haven't put a tag in every single pocket, but I've just put them in a few. So I've popped one in that pocket, and then I think did I put another one in? I'm sure I did. Was it on the edge pocket maybe? I'm sure I put another tag in. There we go. Yep, I popped another tag in there. They were so hidden that I didn't know they were there. I'm just going to work on these two little tags here, and I don't need to worry too much about whether they necessarily match what's going on in here, because they're just going to be tucked inside, so you're not going to actually see them. And like I said, I've just pulled out a bunch of like scrap papers and things to use for this on a smaller scale, and then also some imagery. So the kind of look that I'm going for is definitely what I was working on in my journal here, where this image here was cut out and then sort of everything is collaged behind it. I think I added like a few more images like this, where there's just sort of a cluster of papers, and then I've used the image as the focal point itself. You can see there is another example where I haven't collaged across the whole page, I've just focused it on a certain section of it. So that's sort of the idea that I'm going to go for with this tag, where I'm going to work across the bottom of it. And I was wondering whether I could maybe keep them together like this and then collage across them, and then I will cut them up, and then it's kind of going to create a little bit of a twin moment, I suppose, between them, but I'm not wanting them to be matching, if that makes sense. And just so that way then we're doing something still a little bit different that isn't just collage straight onto the tag. We're sort of going to work on, I'd say, like the bottom half of this and going across. So use it as one surface, and then we'll chop it and see what we end up with. So I have all sorts of different things within here, like little pieces. I've also got like wallpaper samples, which I really love this one, so I might use something from this. This might be a little bit too colourful, but I just love the texture. I don't know if that's going to show up on here of this one. I don't think I'd ever put something like this on my wall, but as something to use in my journals. So the first thing I'm going to do is put down some larger base layers, and then we'll start working on some smaller pieces as well. Maybe this window could be interesting as well, especially with the colours of that wallpaper here that I've just picked out. The darker elements, this could complement quite nicely. I have a couple of these here actually, which I'm wondering, are they almost the right size for this? Oh, they're perfect. Oh, okay. Well, that's definitely going to have to make an appearance in there now, isn't it? It's sort of just the right size, and it ever so slightly pokes out of the edge as well. Okay, so I'm not going to do those. Oh, and it's stuck. Okay, so I'm not going to include these probably today, but good to know that they are the right size, because now I can keep them to one side and do something with those as well, because the green is a little bit much, but something like this on the other side would work. And that's quite nice to have some writing space actually, so maybe we will alter these as well at some point and have those in the journal. So I'll just pop them to one side. Pulled out quite a few different bits here. We can barely see the tags that I've got, so I'm just going to sort of try and work on a little bit of a layout here. that's where I'm up to. So I'm just going to sort of trim the edges and cut these apart just so I can see what we're working with. I really love the way that they go together, but they are also separate. So I'm definitely going to add a few more things, I think, to this piece and maybe show some of the imagery a little bit more. Added a few extra pieces there just to make this a little bit different, and now I'm wondering where to add this because it's quite bold and I don't want to cover up too much stuff, but I'm thinking maybe it should be this way around. So I might need to cut this in half so I can have half on each of the tags. And I've cut this image in half just to fussy cut it here so that I can have a different side of the image on each of these tags here. And I also picked one that had some darker green leaves because I think that's going to go a lot better with the colour palette of these tags I've got, where I've got these darker accents here. And I think it suits the compositions of these to have the flower on the left hand side of this one and then on the right hand side of this one here. So that is sort of bridging that gap between the little piece that I've cut out with the black outline there. And I think the last thing I'm going to add to these is just some little words that I'm going to cut out of some book text. My two finished tags for the prompt of mini collage. So I really love the way that they do sort of go together here. You can see the image is actually sort of lined up here, so it does go across, but you can also have them this way as well, but they just sort of complement each other without being like complete direct copies of one another. And so I can now pop these just inside anywhere in this journal. So I'm just going to add this one to here, and then I will pop this tag in one of these pockets as well. I'm thinking I might pop it on one of the edge pockets here. So those are the tags, as you can see, that they pop out of the edge of the page there. And like I said, I've got these two pieces here as well, so they fit pretty perfectly within the pockets as well. So I may end up doing something with those as well, so I'll just pop that in there so I remember that I've got them. And so that is everything for the prompt of mini collage. So as always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.